Apologies, it's been a while since I've done a video about the bunnies, and it's been a very long time since I've done a vlog, so I am going to cover lots of the bunnies' lives today. I do apologise for the video quality. Basically, I capture pretty much all the bunny footage on my phone now, just casually, because I'm wanting to film them all the time. And so yeah, the quality is not great, especially like the nighttime evening videos are a bit more grainy, so apologies. They're square videos, but still super cute, so does it really matter? No, it doesn't. So interestingly, literally like a day after I uploaded that last bunny vlog video, which was like start of March, I'm not including the bunny box video that I did in mid-March, oh my goodness, basically we had a health scare with Pudding. She developed something called GI stasis, which is an incredibly common killer in bunnies, and it's a very common way that bunnies get sick. It's basically when their stomach stops working, and then that also causes the body to shut down, because bunnies, like horses, kind of have to constantly keep their gut moving, otherwise they get a lot of health complications and can die very quickly in less than 24 hours. So it was definitely a medical emergency, and we had to take her out of hours to the vet, so it did cost a lot, but hey, we knew what we were getting into with animals and getting sick. You know, vet bills are always going to be a big scare. So Pudding, basically, I went to take them to bed, and you know what I usually do is I lure them over to the pen with pellets, and they hop in, eat the pellets. Pudding was refusing to come out for pellets. I was like, oh, maybe she's sleepy. So I tried a bit more, and she was like actually refusing to take it from my hand. Like I was putting it near her mouth, and she was going, eh. Just, oh, that's a terrible sign, because like, I mean, Pudding, she is a glutton. She will eat anything whenever she gets a chance to get, especially pellets, which is one of her favourite foods. So I was like, oh god, like my heart started sinking at that point. And I got something that's like a bit of fresh banana and, you know, some other things like that, and she was absolutely turning all down, which is crazy for Pudding. I was like, oh god, yeah, we need to call a vet. And I went into like robot mode, because when I panic, I get like, okay, we need to do this and this and this and this, and I just like go kind of monotone and really focused, because I know if I start crying or getting emotional, it doesn't help anything. So I kind of shut down emotionally. But by the time we got to the vet, so we rushed her off. We got in a taxi, because we don't have a car. Got in a wee taxi and went to the local vet that's open 24/7. And I was obviously blabbing really hard to the vet, like it's what I do when I'm nervous. I kept trying to like needing to prove myself, and I couldn't shut up, and I was like blah, 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 blah. I was obviously very nervous and worried for poor Pudding. But yeah, the reason she got GI stasis was because, and there was a hint in it in the second bunny vlog, the one at the start of March, she was shedding an awful amount. Like, you know, it's very natural, they will shed their winter coat around springtime, which is the heaviest shed, because they're such thick coats that they're getting rid of. And even though we were grooming her every day during the shed, in fact sometimes twice a day, because she was so fluffy compared to Pumpkin, who's short haired, she was obviously still ingesting a lot of it, because rabbits are constantly grooming themselves and you can't really prevent that. She'd obviously ingested far too much of her fluffy fur, and it had clogged up her stomach. So that was very dangerous, because like potentially, if I noticed that earlier, she could have died in like a few hours. Like the earlier you catch the signs of GI stasis, the higher chance you have of giving them an easy recovery. Otherwise things could get very complicated and they need operations and can potentially die. It is very serious. But also very common for bunnies. They're such fragile creatures. But yeah, the vet gave her some painkillers, because, you know, her sore stomach being clogged up was going to cause her some pain. And he gave her an injection of ranitidine, which is basically a drug that tries to get the gut moving again. And we went home with some liquid versions of each that we had to syringe feed her. And literally, like an hour after we got home, Pudding started eating again. Like, I was so relieved when I started eating, but that's only half the way there to knowing that she's going to be okay. You need to know the gut is moving. You have to wait and see if she's actually going to poop. I have never celebrated more when I saw her poop later that night. I was like, we have poop! I was just like, oh thank god. It's like, her stomach's moving again, she's going to be fine. She was eating hay and drinking water. And in fact, she did a wee Binky with Pumpkin like a wee while after that. So thank goodness she was fine. But yeah, just because rabbits are so good at looking fine even when they're unwell, we were advised to keep giving her the liquid painkillers and the ranitidine for a week, which we did, which is very, very responsible. For you should never stop giving medicine to your pet just because they seem fine. You need to finish the course the vet has suggested for you. They're not trying to scam you of money. They're doing this because they know animals. You can never fully understand when they're properly better again because, you know, they can't tell you. Yeah, so no health scare since then. I hope I don't jinx that saying that. Each bunny has had their claws trimmed once since we got them. Pumpkins seem to grow much faster than Puddings. Like, Pudding only needed hers cut like about 3 weeks ago, so that was like 5 months after we adopted her. But oh my goodness, Pumpkin, like, once we were able to get her and like trim her claws, like, she just let me do it. She was obviously really scared and stressed, poor Babby, but she just let me do it. In comparison, Pudding was such a wee feisty madam, which she just like, she kept bucking. Like, I was scared she was gonna injure herself with how hard she was like bucking me to get off her. Like, you know, you have to hold them down at the shoulders and clip their claws. Even when I managed to get her in a bunny burrito, which is what's suggested to get them calm and, you know, still in one position so you can clip their claws, she's still bucking away, but I managed to do it. I managed to do it. And I always would give them pellets after the stressful ordeal is over. But it was just so funny how feisty Pudding was when it came to claw clipping. Thank goodness her claws grow so slowly compared to Pumpkin's. Pumpkin will be much easier to do. But yeah, besides health things, on terms of their trust and progress with that, they have come so far in this half year we've had them. It's got to the point like in the past 2 weeks or something, they've just suddenly started licking me. Which has been so, so sweet. And I do want to say that, like, I don't know why people assume that, like, when a rabbit is licking them, they're doing it because you taste nice or that, you know, they're collecting salt deposits off you or something. It's ridiculous. Rabbits are perfectly capable of showing love. This is absolutely 100% an affection thing. When they're licking you, it's them grooming you. It's how they show affection to each other. So they were basically accepting me as a fellow bunny, a large, hairless, strange bunny. Nonetheless, I've been accepted. And I get really emotional when they start licking me now. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh. And like, you know, the only time they're maybe going to lick you when it's not affection is maybe if you've just like cut up a fresh apple or you've been eating a banana with your bare hands and they start licking your hands or something. But yeah, it's nothing to do with my clothes or anything. Like, the bunnies have licked me when I'm wearing different clothes. They've licked me like they usually lick my knees because it's when I come to kneel down and say hello. But they've licked my foot, they've licked my face, they've licked my glasses. And one time when I was like lying flat on the floor, Pudding came up, put her wee paws up on my back and started giving me a really thorough groom on my back. Like, yeah, we just gotta get this right. And it was just so adorable and funny. So yeah, I get like really, really touched when I do it. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so that's absolutely excruciatingly adorable. And Pudding especially is so affectionate. Like, Pumpkin's learning to copy Pudding and lick me a bit afterwards, but Pudding is doing it like all the time. Like, every time I come say hi, she's like, I love you, lick, lick, lick. And then she'll go over to Pumpkin and lick Pumpkin like, I love you, lick, lick, lick. It's just like, she has to share the love around. And sometimes she's always like licking her favorite things, like the cat tunnel draft excluder. It's just like, you're mine, I love it, you're mine. It's like, that's their kind of expression she's doing basically. They're often the kind of ones that mark their territory by licking instead of chinning. They do chin sometimes, but they're more of lickers, which means I have to clean things more so they don't get too germy. Oh, and we've managed to extend their free roam area to the hallway now, which is like super, super long. I think it's like 31 foot long, and they've just been like running up and down and binking up and down. It's been so, so cute. It's just exactly what I wanted to see them do. So yeah, they've got an even bigger space to just have free roam now, which is great. We don't give them access all the time because they still need to be supervised a little bit because it's a new area, but I let them like have that extra big long hallway maybe like twice a week at the moment. But yeah, about Pumpkin and how I was saying she's more cautious than Pudding, like she's definitely the more cautious bun of the two, and I think that's also very fitting of a bunny who is the dominant bunny. She is top bun, and you know, she's the boss of the two. Like, And I've noticed that most dominant buns tend to be a lot more cautious and sassy and, you know, more dignified. Like they won't put up with you doing nonsense. Like Pudding puts up with my nonsense all the time because, you know, she's queenie. That this pumpkin, she's queenie. But with that cautiousness, I was starting to worry that maybe she had been kind of possibly like abused or handled really badly before she was rescued, because she was so flinchy even as like lifting a finger. And I actually asked for some advice from the House Rabbit Society on if this was normal for like a rescued rabbit who's obviously been through quite a bit moving homes and stuff. And she was like, she seems to be acting like a rabbit should. She's extra rabbity. So I'm glad to know that, like, you know, she's still binkying and lying around and stuff. She's obviously happy and relaxed. She's just not so cool with touch. And as long as we know she's happy, we really don't mind. Because, like, Pudding isn't even great with us touching her. Like, she'll tolerate it, but she doesn't come and request pats or anything. She doesn't understand that petting is an enjoyable experience yet, like a lot of rabbits do. But that's something we still need to work on. It's going to take a long time. But it's not what I was, you know, it's not been a disappointment that, like, they haven't been, like, super cuddly, because they've just been loving us in so many other ways that I've never felt, like, sad about it, ever. They're so sweet and lovely, and just, we love having them there and with us. They'll follow us around. They like us being in the room. They're so needy. They don't like me leaving the room a lot of the time. So can you imagine if they were, like, a dog or cat? They'd probably be meowing and barking at the door. And the only reason I don't feel bad about going to work in the other room is because they have each other, so they're not like lonely. But they are so needy, and it's adorable. Like, they've taken over my life in the nicest way possible. Like, this is everything I wanted from having House Rabbit, is them just like being with us, wanting to be part of the family. And they've taken up, like, because I spend so much time at home alone by myself, like, they brought so much joy into my daily life. And it's just so sweet. And for my partner, they're most active and interesting in the evening when he gets home from work, so he gets to, like, enjoy them being at their, like, optimum when they're not sleeping during the afternoon. And it's been a lot harder for him getting to know them, because he spends, like, a third of the time that I get to spend with them. But Pudding especially has really started accepting him lately, and we can both, like, him and me, we can both, like, nose boop with the bun, so, like, we can come put our faces together and boop, and that's kind of like how rabbits greet each other and say hello. So the fact that we can do that now without them being scared, like, put our faces right up to theirs without them even, like, flinching, is great. Which is also interesting because, you know, they're still not great about us touching with our hands. It seems to be a much more natural way to interact with bunnies, by touching noses instead. So it's interesting to know that they're cool with that, but not with, like, touching with hands, which seems to be a bit more predatory kind of action. So it's interesting. I've learned so much from them over, like, the half year they've been here. I'm just constantly learning, and I'm still researching, like, rabbit care and what's best for them and stuff like that. I've just learned so much lately, and they've brought so much happiness. Love them so much. I don't really have anything else to say for this video. I've got some more bunny videos on the way very soon. I kind of made a separate video that I'll put up later, of just some silly, cute, funny clips of them being fantastic. But in the meantime, here is a compilation of Binkies. Enjoy, and see you next time. Bye bye!